Hey there, welcome back to the Do More podcast. My name is Ben Ribble, and I am the founding coach here at Laser Focused Life. And today, we've got kind of a fun little insightful topic that I think will help transform your personal and your professional life. We're going to talk about the different types of mentors that you maybe have, but you definitely need in your life. Let's jump right in. So today we're going to keep it relatively light and kind of informative, maybe just a little. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's explore how these different types of mentors can help you do more. So let's jump right in. Mentor number one is the master of craft. Now, the master of craft is someone in your life that has done just that. They've mastered their craft. They are someone who has experience, someone who understands what it takes to be a master in their craft, in your craft, really. So, think about those senior executives. Think about the people who have been in your role for years and years and years. Think about those people who seem to be able to just do what you want to do without thinking about it, without much effort, right? Those are the people who have fine-tuned their craft and their skills and have all of the tools they need in their tool belt. And quite honestly, they have all the tools you need in your tool belt as well, right? So the master of craft is that person who really is just the one that can get you where you need to be. So let me tell you, because sometimes we get in the mindset that we have to mimic exactly, play by play, piece by piece, what the master of craft does in order to become more like that person, or more like or more of a master of our own craft, right? That's kind of the idea of the mentorship here, is we want to learn from them. But the thing that I want to express, I feel is probably best described or explained by telling you the tale of the young painter. So I'm going to go ahead and read this tale to you. In a quaint village, there lived a young painter named Clara. Clara dreamed of becoming a master artist. Inspired by the works of renowned painters, she spent her days practicing with vibrant colors and bold strokes. But she always had this overwhelming feeling of self-doubt. And one day, Clara heard about an old master painter named Victor, who lived on the outskirts of the village. Now, his paintings were said to evoke emotions like no other, and many sought his mentorship. So eager to learn from him, Clara approached Victor and asked if he would teach her. Now, Victor agreed, but he set a condition. He said, "Before you paint anything new, you must first copy one of my masterpieces exactly as it is." Excited but oh so apprehensive, Clara accepted the challenge. She spent weeks meticulously replicating Victor's work. I mean, every brush stroke was scrutinized, every color matched oh so perfectly. But as she painted, she felt more like a copier than an artist. And when she finally presented her work to Victor, he examined it closely. And he said, "You've done well. But now it is time for you to create something original." Confused, Clara replied, "But I only ever learned by copying." Victor smiled and explained gently, "Clara, Mastery comes not from imitation, but from understanding your craft deeply enough to express your own voice. Encouraged by his words, Clara began experimenting with her own style. She combined techniques she had learned from Victor with her own unique perspective of life. And slowly but surely, her confidence grew. A few months later, Clara unveiled her first original painting at the village fair. It was a vibrant landscape filled with swirling colors that reflected her emotions, and the villagers, they were captivated. They could feel the joy and passion radiating from the canvas. And in that moment, Clara realized that true mastery wasn't just about technique. It was about finding her voice and expressing it authentically. And so the moral of this story really and truly is to understand that yes, we need to have a master of craft in our lives, someone that we can look up to, someone that we can aspire to be more like, someone that we can ask questions and pick their brain for how they do this or how they got to the place that they are. But it ultimately requires that we embrace our own creativity and our own unique perspective. We are not that person, and we will never be that person. So embrace who you are and who you are meant to be, all the while learning from the master of craft in your life. And that brings us to mentor number 2. Mentor number 2 is the champion of your cause. Now, the champion of your cause is someone who I like to think of this person as a cheerleader for you. This person is always advocating for you and always supporting you. And in addition to that, this person is connecting other people to you, bringing other people into your life, bringing them into your business, introducing them to you, and expanding your sphere of influence, if you will. Think about, again, a cheerleader. This person doesn't just cheer to hear themselves, right? A cheerleader typically is someone who is leading a cheer, getting other people to cheer along, to hype you up, to get you going, right? I remember one time I had this colleague, and great guy, great friend, and he just kind of all of a sudden said, "Hey, there's this person that you need to meet." And he went and he brought this person to me, and he said, and he made introductions, and he said, you just need to meet each other. And so we did. We started talking, and I'll tell you, we hit it off. And before long, this person and I had built a business relationship, and it was a very productive relationship, I might add, and one that I don't think that I could have ever stumbled upon myself. But this cheerleader, this advocate, this champion of my cause was so in tune with what I needed and what this other person needed that he brought this person to me without me asking. And at one point, I had the opportunity to ask him. I said, "Why did you introduce us? What made you do that?" And I'll never forget. He said matter of factly, "Because the two of you needed to meet. You could help him, and he can help you." And I thought, wow, so simple, so easy, but that connection has led to multiple opportunities, things that I never dreamed would be possible because of that one person who was advocating for me, who was a champion of my cause. And I encourage you to be that type of mentor for someone in your life. Find someone that you are excited for, that you are watching and seeing how they are changing the world around them, and advocate for them, become a champion for their cause. Because see, friends, that's the beauty of mentorship. It has to go both ways. There has to be give and take. And you need to take the opportunity to mentor as much as be mentored. Okay? And that takes us to number 3, the Copilot. The Copilot. Now, oftentimes the Copilot is someone who is at the same place in their life, a lot of times in the same business or the same, even the same company a lot of times. The Copilot is oftentimes at the same point in their life with their family, a lot of times similar ages, so that they're going through the same things in life. Okay? So the Copilot, I don't want you to think about it as, pilot, Copilot. I want you to think about it as Copilot, Copilot, right? Because oftentimes this mentorship is so reciprocal, bounced back and forth, that you can't tell who's mentoring who, because at any given moment, one could be mentoring the other. Does that make sense? It's a very reciprocal relationship. Goes back and forth, right? Where both parties are supporting each other constantly, continually, and consistently. And I have this Copilot in my life. It's my brother, to be honest with you. He is someone that I can use as a sounding board when I have questions, when I have something exciting happen in my life, when there's just anything. I reach out to him. He and I are very similar individuals. We think very similarly, slightly differently, of course, and that's helpful. But we think very similarly, and in doing so, that allows us to be there for one another, to advocate for each other, to help each other see different perspectives, and really to be an accountability partner for each other. And so that's the beauty of this Copilot, is it's not like your traditional mentor-mentee relationship. You're both kind of mentor at any given time, and you're both mentee at any given time as well. So that is a beautiful relationship for you to find. And I'd really encourage you to do that, because sometimes the brainstorming, the ideas that you can come up with, and it can feel just like you're chatting, right? But really, you're digging deep. You're getting things done, and you're relaxed to the point that your brain can kind of bring out some of these things that it otherwise wouldn't. So that is mentor type number 3, the Copilot. So mentor type number 4, we're going to call the anchor. And the anchor is someone who typically serves as a confidant and a sounding board. And the anchor is similar to our first mentor, the master of craft, except they don't necessarily have to be the master of your craft. Oftentimes, the anchor is found in a different industry or a different role or just completely different. But a lot of times the anchor is someone who is more mature than you. A lot of times, yes, that means has had more birthdays. The anchor is someone who does just that. They anchor you. They kind of ground you a little bit. A confidant, a sounding board, right? And I think in my life, the biggest anchor in my life is my dad. My dad is a great listener. Someone who I can say or tell anything to. And sometimes he'll have feedback for me. Sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll just let me talk. And that's okay, because I'm a verbal processor. So sometimes I have to say it in order to really process, what I'm saying and what I'm thinking. And the beautiful thing is that my dad and I think so differently, and we have such different, professional goals and fields. Like, he's a farmer and I'm in business, and we're just different people. He's very mechanically inclined, and I am technologically inclined. And so, there are all these things that should, on paper, say that we're not a good match for a mentor-mentee relationship. But then that's the beauty of it. The fact that we have all of these differences, the fact that we have these unique perspectives. And that's what I love, is the unique perspective. I can say something to him and he'll say something that to me feels so profound because he's looking at it from a completely different perspective, a perspective that I never would have thought to look at it from. And I love that about this anchor role. And so if you don't have an anchor in your life, I encourage you strongly, find someone. Doesn't have to be in your industry. It could be someone that you find within your church. It could be someone you find, in a chamber. It could be someone that you find at the, Elks or Moose or whatever lodge you're a part of. It could be anyone in your life. It could be a family member, an uncle, a dad, like in my case, right? And it's imperative that you have someone who can anchor you, who can ground you, who can be a confidant, a sounding board, someone who can provide invaluable perspective, especially in tough times. That's when you really need the anchor, is in tough times. When you are struggling, that's when the anchor is really going to shine in your life. And the insights that the anchor can provide you will help you navigate the challenges that you come across in your life with clarity and support. Okay? And then that brings us to the fifth type of mentor. And we're going to call this one the reverse mentor. You've noticed so far that all of the mentors that we've discussed are either like on the same page, or the mentor is elevated above you, right? As far as either skill level or age or whatever. But the reverse mentor is going to be someone typically who is younger than you, or who is newer than you to the field. Let me just say, I spend a lot of time working with the youth within my church. And people always ask me, Ben, why do you enjoy working with the youth so much? It seems like it's an exhausting, ever-changing, difficult endeavor. And they're not wrong. As far as exhausting goes, I'll tell you, we take the youth on a week-long service mission trip each summer, and keeping up with them, by the end of the week, each passing year, it gets harder and harder and harder to keep up with them by the end of the week. But let me just say, the unique perspectives that the younger generations have on so many different topics are refreshing. And it's important that we stay in tune with what's coming up. And the beautiful thing about the reverse mentor is it can actually be you are being mentored, the reverse mentor, but they are also seeing you as an anchor or as a champion for their cause or whatever it be, right? So this, again, is a type of reciprocal mentorship. But I want to express to you the reverse mentorship side of it, how impactful that has been on my life. I am telling you, sometimes the things that these younger generations will say and the perspectives that they have just totally blow my mind. I wouldn't think the way they think. I wouldn't see from the perspective that they see things from, and it makes me question my own beliefs. And sometimes it's one of those situations where I think to myself, is my mindset is the way I'm seeing this and the way I'm approaching it, simply because that's the way it's always been. So they're challenging some of these status quo concepts that I have in my life, and that's always a good thing in my opinion. Challenge your thoughts, challenge your mindset, challenge yourself. And again, I've learned so much about things from the youth within our church, but then also younger colleagues that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I'm telling you, some of the modern trends and the technology that these younger generations have access to and have knowledge of is it's bewildering, really. And not only that, but I can't help but think about a story that trying to come up with the right way to say this. There was a CEO from a rather large company not too long ago who took to, I believe TikTok was the platform that he went to, and he started talking about the changes that their company was going to make. And throughout the entirety of this soliloquy, this person did not realize who their audience was, did not realize what their audience thought or the way their audience thinks, and quite honestly didn't seem to care. And I will tell you, social media ate this person alive. This company was then dragged through the mud because, and I can't help to think, but if this person had had a reverse mentor in their life, then, well, not only a reverse mentor in their life, but a reverse mentor in their life that they would listen to and heed their advice. If they had just run this past this reverse mentor, it would have never happened. The reverse mentor would have been like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's not going to be good for anybody. And here's what's going to happen. And I'll tell you, that reverse mentor probably could have told you piece by piece what was going to happen. So remember to acknowledge the younger people in your life, because they can, in fact, be a type of mentor for you. So that takes care of the 5 types of mentors today. Number 1, the master of craft. Number 2, the champion of your cause. Number 3, the Copilot. Number 4, the anchor. And number 5, the reverse mentor. And so remember, it is important to have a diverse selection of mentors in your life. And I would encourage you even to seek out, first, take the opportunity to see if you can put a face and a name to each of these different types of mentors in your life. And maybe you can identify a gap where there's a spot where you don't have one of these types of mentors. And when you do that, think to yourself, well, how do I go about finding a mentor that can fill this gap, right? And sometimes that's hard, because that means having to introduce yourself or talk to new people and make connections with new people. And because of that, because of our recognition of that, I want to encourage you to jump over to laserfocused.life/training, because I have several upcoming webinars, free webinars. Did you hear that word? Free. Live webinars talking about different concepts. And right now we're really focusing a lot on communication and connection. And so these could be invaluable to you as far as making connections with new people in your lives. And so again, I would encourage you to jump over to laserfocus.life/training. I'll put the link in the show notes below. Jump over there, and maybe I'll see you on one of those trainings. As a matter of fact, I look very forward to it. I would be honored to have you join me at one of the trainings. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Let's continue to grow and do more.